With the advance of the Argentine national team, the current world champion, in the World Cup in the United States, many Brazilians found themselves tempted to root for the Argentine team. After all, at this moment, it doesn't just represent its own region, but all of Latin American soccer, which is considered by the specialized media, especially here in Brazil, as soccer that is far below European soccer. Every goal that Argentina scores disproves that narrative. But as good Brazilians, it's hard to forget what the Argentine national team has already done against Brazil, our own team. Spiked water, controversies over an alleged match fixing to eliminate Brazil, as we've already shown in our video. In fact, the episode that became known as the Hand of God was the goal Diego Maradona scored with his hand. It happened. It happened in the quarterfinals of the 1986 World Cup against England. That game was won by Argentina 2-1. The referee didn't see the irregular play and allowed the goal, immortalizing the phrase used by the star player, who, when confronted by journalists, "Look, that goal was illegal, the referee didn't see it, you used your hand to score the goal." Maradona not only didn't regret it, he even said that was the goal that secured their spot. Hand of God. Later, after all that controversy, FIFA chose that goal as the most beautiful in World Cup history. Believe it or not, it's hard with a past like that, with a story like this, more similar to Dick Dastardly from Wacky Races than to a national team. But I ask you, what about individual effort? And does the current team deserve to carry the blame for all these mistakes from the past? You'll answer that at the end of this video after you understand the story of Lionel Messi, the guy who, in times like these, tattooed the image of Christ on his own shoulder, and he makes a point of showing it to the world. Why would a player, often the target of conspiracy theories, behave like this? We know that Christianity today has been fought against and even criminalized in several countries, including China. What does this represent? What does this mean? Those of you who follow the channel already know, there's only one way to find out, by getting to know the story. So, grab your sardine pasta and roasted chicken, and let's start another episode of our old series, A Realidade por Trás do Mito. The history of soccer is full of prodigies, but no story has challenged the laws of biology, logic, and even time itself as much as that of Lionel Andrés Messi Cucitini. For many, soccer is a matter of strength, speed, and physical dominance. For Messi, it has always been a matter of miracles, resilience, and faith. Today, seeing him dominate the World Cup stage at 39 years old, an achievement that the vast majority of sports analysts considered impossible. We forget that Messi's very existence in high-performance sports was, in itself, a battle against his own body. What you are about to learn is the definitive story of a man who turned fragility into genius, faced the weight of hatred from his own homeland, defied time, and put God ahead of every step of his journey. Act 1. I was born on June 24, 1987 in Rosario, Argentina. Lionel was the third of 4 children in a humble family. His father, Jorge Messi, was a worker at a steel factory, and his mother, Cecilia Cusitini, worked as a part-time cleaner. Since he was 4 years old, little Leo walked around with his boots on at the local club Grandoli, coached by his father but strongly encouraged by his maternal grandmother, Celia, to whom he dedicates all his goals to this day. Pointing to the sky at 10 years old playing for the youth divisions of Newell's Old Boys, Messi was a phenomenon. He scored almost 500 goals in the youth team known as the 87 Machine. However, something was wrong. While his teammates grew and filled out, Leo remained the size of a much younger child. In 1997, Dr. Diego Schusterstein gave the diagnosis that came as a bombshell to the family: growth hormone deficiency, GHD. At 11 years old, Messi's routine changed drastically. He wasn't just a boy playing soccer. He was a patient undergoing a painful and expensive treatment. Every night, he had to inject growth hormone into his own legs. Messi said the following: "I gave myself injections in my legs once a night. I started when I was 11 years old. First in one leg, then in the other. It didn't hurt me. It was a routine I had to do, and I did it as a matter of course," Messi recalled years later. The cost of the treatment was about $900 per month, an astronomical amount for the Argentine economy that was collapsing at the end of the 1990s. Newell's old boys promised to help, but the payments were delayed or simply didn't come. River Plate then became interested in the boy, but refused to cover the medical costs due to the club's financial crisis. The dream seemed to have ended before it even began. The world was telling Lionel that he was too small for football. Knowing that his son's future depended on the treatment, Jorge Messi, his father, managed to get an evaluation with Carles Rechach, the sporting director of FC Barcelona, in September 2000. Rechach was instantly impressed when he saw the 13-year-old boy on the field. However, the Barcelona board hesitated. Hiring such a young foreign player, bringing his entire family, and paying for medical treatment was an unprecedented financial risk at the time. On September 14, 2000, faced with an ultimatum from Messi's father, who threatened to return to Argentina, Rechach made a historic decision. In a restaurant with no letterhead nearby, he wrote Messi's first contract on a paper napkin. In Barcelona, on September 14, 2000, and in the presence of Messrs. Miguela and Horacio, Carles Rechach, technical secretary of FC Barcelona, he commits, under his responsibility and despite some opposing opinions, to signing the player Lionel Messi, provided the agreed amounts are paid. The move to Spain was a cultural and emotional shock. His mother and sisters couldn't adapt and went back to Rosario. Only Leo and his father stayed in Barcelona. He faced months of loneliness, silent locker rooms, and the physical pain of a body that was being forced to grow artificially. But the reward came. A Pulga, the derogatory nickname he was called, rose through the youth ranks of La Masia in devastating fashion, making his professional debut at 17 years old under the blessing of Ronaldinho Gaucho. If at Barcelona, Messi was treated as an undisputed king with La Liga titles and multiple Ballon d'Or awards, in Argentina, the story was radically different. This contrast led to the darkest and most controversial periods of his career. And I can tell you the top three. The first one, accused of lacking courage and not being Argentine. For leaving the country at 13, many Argentine fans and journalists accused Messi of being too Spanish. They said he didn't truly feel connected to the albiceleste jersey, that he didn't sing the national anthem with passion, and that he saved his best soccer only for Europe. The constant comparison with the legend Diego Maradona, the visceral, explosive hero and world champion in 1986, suffocated Messi. He was criticized for lacking aggressive leadership. Second, the trilogy of pain and his retirement in 2016. Between 2014 and 2016, Messi went through a statistical and emotional nightmare. He led Argentina to 3 consecutive finals in major tournaments. The 2014 World Cup final, lost to Germany in extra time. The 2015 Copa America final, lost on penalties to Chile. The 2016 Copa America Centenario final, again lost on penalties to Chile, where Messi himself missed his penalty kick. The image of Messi standing still, staring into the void on the New Jersey field, shocked the world. The weight of the criticism was so inhumane that in the mixed zone after the game, with his eyes red from crying, he shocked everyone by announcing his departure from the national team. "The national team is over for me. That's 4 finals already. It's not for me. Unfortunately, I tried. It was what I wanted most. It didn't work out. And I think that's enough." The controversy divided the country. Argentina realized that by demanding he be Maradona, they almost lost the greatest genius of his generation. Posters spread around Buenos Aires with the hashtag, "No te vayas, Leo." In other words, "Don't go, Leo." This started a movement of historic reconciliation. But the controversies would still continue, and it would hit hard through the justice system. 3. The conviction for tax fraud. In 2016, at the height of the national team's on-field crisis, Messi faced his biggest scandal off the field. He and his father were tried by the Spanish courts for defrauding 4.1 million euros in image rights between 2007 and 2009 through companies in tax havens. Messi stated in court that he only played soccer and blindly trusted his father's financial management. I didn't know anything. I was only focused on playing soccer. Both were sentenced to 21 months in prison, a sentence that was converted into a multi-million fine, leaving a stain on the reputation of an exemplary athlete. With all this, the suspicion surrounding Lionel Messi only grew. And then we arrived at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, a story that seems almost cinematic. Argentina arrived in Qatar riding a 36-game unbeaten streak, but their debut against Saudi Arabia shocked the world. Despite Messi's penalty goal, Saudi Arabia's 2-1 comeback sparked an immediate crisis. The ghost of previous eliminations resurfaced, and many questioned whether Messi, at 35 years old, could carry the weight of a nation. As he left the stadium, the captain stepped up and asked, "We ask people to trust us. This group will not let you down." The match against Mexico was tense and tight. In the second half, Argentina seemed out of ideas until the ball fell to Messi outside the box. With a low and precise shot, he opened the scoring. The exuberant celebration lifted the team's spirits. After the 2-0 victory, confirmed by a stunning goal from the young Enzo Fernandez, the psychological pressure eased. Their win against Poland in the next match secured a spot in the knockout stage. From the round of 16 onwards, Messi reached the peak of his World Cup career, scoring in every knockout stage. In the round of 16 against Australia, in his 1000th professional match, he paved the way for the 2-1 victory with a classic left-footed goal. Quarterfinals against the Netherlands, he gave a brilliant no-look assist to Molina and scored from the penalty spot. After the Dutch equalized at the end, Messi took on the role of leader, both in provoking and in fighting spirit, taking his kick in the penalty shootout. He became immortalized by his confrontation with coach Louis van Gaal and the phrase, "What's up, people?" Let's move on to the semi-final against Croatia. He had a magical performance, scored a penalty, and made a monumental play for Julian Alvarez's third goal, leaving defender Gilles Bardiol, one of the best in the tournament, lost on the end line. On December 18, 2022 at Lusail Stadium, Messi faced the reigning champion, France. He scored first with a penalty and helped set up the second goal. When France fought back to equalize through the youngster, he appeared again in extra time to push the ball into the net and make it 3-3. In the thrilling penalty shootout, he converted Argentina's first kick with extreme composure. After Hermiliano Martinez's decisive save and the title-winning goal scored by Gonzalo Montiel, Messi fell to his knees in the center circle. Doubt gave way to eternity. He finally lifted the World Cup trophy, was named the best player of the tournament, and achieved everything in football. A man who had been discredited, insulted by his own fans, underestimated, turned things around. After the ultimate redemption at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, where Messi finally won the only title he was still missing, the football world assumed that Messi's story was over. He had done all there was to do in his career. His transfer to Inter Miami in the United States was seen by the European press as the beginning of a golden retirement, a refuge where he could play at a less demanding pace. When the cycle for the next World Cup began, the idea of Lionel Messi playing in the 2026 World Cup at the age of 39 was seen as a romantic utopia or a purely commercial move. Critics claimed that modern football, increasingly physical, based on extremely fast transitions and high pressing, would swallow up a player who is almost 40 years old. It was said that Argentina would be playing with one less player during the defensive phase, and that he wouldn't be able to handle the intensity of knockout matches against European or African powerhouses. The definitive answer came on the field. Messi not only traveled to the tournament, but also turned skepticism into another chapter of overcoming adversity. Adapting his playing style, he went from being the speedy winger he once was to becoming the team's cerebral maestro. He ran less, but thought faster than all his opponents. The campaign was filled with epic moments. The crowning moment of his longevity came in the group stage with a historic performance against Algeria, where he scored a devastating hat-trick, dismantling a young and physical defense through intelligent positioning and the surgical precision of his left foot. In the quarterfinals against Switzerland, under relentless marking, he broke down the opponent's defense with 2 pinpoint assists. Messi proved in that game that time may slow down your legs, but it elevates the minds of geniuses. And to understand how the man endured the pain of injections in childhood, the loneliness of exile, the hatred of millions of critics from his own country and abroad, and the weight of physical aging, we need to look beyond the material plane. The driving force behind Lionel Messi is his faith in Christianity. Unlike other athletes who use religion in a performative or loud way, Messi's spirituality is marked by intimacy and a deep conviction that he is merely an instrument of something greater. Among the many tattoos that cover the star's body, the one with the greatest symbolism covers his entire right shoulder and arm. A realistic and imposing image of Jesus Christ wearing the crown of thorns. Drawn by the tattoo artist Roberto Lopez, the piece took months to complete and carries deep meaning tied to his outlook on life. Besides Christ, the drawing connects with a lotus flower on the elbow, which symbolizes how talent can bloom even in the most unlikely places. As most people know, the lotus flower grows in the mud. In addition, the stained glass windows of the Sagrada Familia Church in Barcelona, the image of Jesus on his right arm serves as a constant reminder of sacrifice, protection, and spiritual devotion. It's the arm he uses to wear the captain's armband. It's the arm he raises to the sky after every goal, God above all. Messi firmly rejects any attempt by the media or his fans to deify his image. When Pope Francis, who is also Argentine, was asked in a television interview if it was a sin to call Messi a god, the pontiff smiled and said, "In theory, it's sacrilege. You can't say that. People say he is God, just like they say, I adore you. These are popular expressions. He's God with the ball on the field, but he's not God." Messi fully agrees with the Pope. In his rare and valuable statements about his inner life, he always makes a point of giving all human glory to God. In his words, "I never did anything to have the soccer skills I have. It was God who gave me this gift from birth. I simply made the most of it. I did everything to improve and move forward, but without his help, I would be nothing." That spiritual humility was what kept him strong when the whole world criticized him for the national team's defeats. While the press talked about a lack of leadership, Messi trusted in a higher plan. That devotion became evident in his words after achieving ultimate glory in Qatar. "I knew that God was going to give me this title. I felt it. I had a vague idea that it would be like this, that he was saving this for me. I think he waited for the perfect moment. And there couldn't have been a better moment than this, at the end of my career." The biography of Lionel Messi is not just the chronicle of a soccer player who accumulated records and trophies. It's living proof that physical limitations can be overcome with discipline, and that the biggest controversies and injustices can be answered with silence and work focused on what really matters. Age is just a detail when the mind is sharp and brilliant. Above all, Messi's story is the testimony of a man who, upon reaching the absolute top of the planet, where few human beings have been, chose to look up and point to the skies, and remind the world that the true secret of his greatness was never in his own legs, but in his faith in the one who created him. And this video ends here. Knowing the story of Lionel Messi, understanding the controversies involving Argentina, now, my brother, you are forgiven if you want to root for Argentina. You won't be rooting for all of Argentina's history, but for this current generation that, as we saw in Lionel Messi's story, is an example of overcoming challenges. Anyway, the decision is yours. If you also want to root against them, there's no problem with that. After all, we smart people know that soccer is a great sport to get exercise and build camaraderie and teamwork. But when it's used, just like it is in Brazil, as a distraction, a way of numbing people to the political absurdities going on, it ends up being something very bad, and the population shouldn't care as much as they do. Anyway, the decision is yours, my dear brother. In my view, whatever you may think of the Argentine national team, even with all its history, at this moment it represents Latin American soccer, which is considered by them to be below the European level. Each goal by Argentina shuts up the sports media. The decision is yours now. God bless you, my brothers. If you understand how hard it is to make a video like this, I ask you to share it and show it to more people. Stay with God, my brothers. Take care, and we move forward together.